It's me, your boy Blue Gets again. Today we'll be talking about new Superheavy Samurai support coming out of Cyberstorm Access. And funny thing is, I actually was planning on making Superheavy Samurai cards in my Yu-Gi-Oh! Archetypal Facelift video.
I don't give a fuck!
Anyways, let's get started. First we have Superheavy Samurai Bike, and it's level 2 Earth Machine Tuner effect monster with 800 attack and 1200 defense. Also, the attack on these monsters are always going to be irrelevant. First effect reads, if you control no spells and traps in your graveyard, basically this entire archetype's MO, you can discard this card, add one Superheavy Samurai monster from your deck to your hand except Superheavy Samurai Bike. And this is really good because if you could basically discard this card, search Scale, and then use Scale's effect to special summon itself and this card from the graveyard, and that's already a level 6 synchro right there. And the second effect reads, once per turn you can basically target one machine monster you control, and that has a level, increase its level by 2. I don't know why they had to specify that has a level, because even if it didn't have a level, you couldn't really use this effect on it to begin with, so that's kind of weird. But basically you could increase Scale's level to 6, and then you could just go into a level 8 synchro. Again, not sure why they had to specify a machine that controls a level. You can't even use this effect if it doesn't have a level. But whatever. Next we have Superheavy Samurai Spy, and it's a level 1 Earth Machine effect monster with 200 attack and 700 defense. And its first effect reads, if you control no spells and traps in your graveyard, you can special summon this card from your hand. Alright. Second effect, if you control no spells and traps in your graveyard, quick effect, you can tribute this card, then target one spell trap in your opponent's graveyard, set it to your field, but banish it when it leaves the field. This effect would be incredibly underwhelming and lame, since there are a couple of Superheavy Samurais in this archetype that essentially do the same thing. But the only thing, to this card's credit, is a quick effect. I mean, Susanoo is a quick effect in my knowledge. Yeah, it's also a quick effect. But some of the other Superheavy Samurai cards that steal spells and traps from your opponent's graveyards aren't quick plays. Aren't quick effects. So this is alright. Next we have Superheavy Samurai Sogia Booster, and it's a level 4 Earth Machine effect monster with 0 attack and 0 defense. And its first effect reads, you can target one Superheavy Samurai monster you control, equip this card to your hand from your hand or graveyard to it. It is treated as a tuner, which is pretty nice because you could basically equip it to your level 1s, your level 2s, your level 3s, your level 4s, even your level 5s, and then gain access to a majority of your synchro monsters at almost all times. And the second effect is also a really great effect because it reads, if you control no spells and traps in your graveyard, so it's going to be always, while this card is equipped to a monster by its own effect. Yeah, by its own effect, so fuck Carrier. Yeah, I just want to say fuck you to that card because I hate that card. That card gets on my nerves.
Everything gets on your nerves, man.
Hey, I've got issues!
You can special summon this card, which is pretty nice. Basically, you could essentially just special summon it, and it's a level 4, so if you control a level 2 tuner, which this deck has quite a number of, in fact, I think almost all of their tuners are level 2. Except for maybe 1 or 2 of them. No, Drum is a level 1 tuner. And I don't think they have any level 3 tuners. Next we have Superheavy Samurai Prodigy Wakaushi. And it's a level 4 Dark Machine Pendulum Tuner effect monster, so I stand corrected. We now also have a level 4 tuner. And it has 1100 attack, 1500 defense, and its pendulum scale is 8. Its pendulum effect reads, if you control no spells and traps in your graveyard, you can place one Super Heavy Samurai Pendulum monster from your deck in your pendulum zone, except Super Heavy Samurai Prodigy Wakaushi. Then special summon this card. Excuse me, which is pretty nice because it automatically just special summons itself from the hand, essentially. And you also get to set up your pendulum zones as a result. And for the monster effects, it reads, if you have no spells and traps in your graveyard, you can discard one monster, special summon one Super Heavy Samurai monster from your hand or deck in defense position. Also, you cannot special summon monsters for the rest of this turn except Super Heavy Samurai monsters. Again, really great. So not only can this thing just special summon itself from the pendulum zone, well, essentially from the hand, basically, while also setting up your pendulum zone, you could also just swarm even more because this card also allows you to special summon from the deck. But you have to discard a monster, but then a lot of your Super Heavy Samurais have graveyard effects. And by a lot I mean just a few, but you know what I'm trying to say. And then you can special summon the Super Heavy Samurai monster from your deck. So you can special summon a tuner. I mean, you wouldn't because this card's a tuner. But you can special summon your Big Benkei, and I think that's level 8. And then you can use this to summon your new Super Heavy Samurai Synchro monster. Second effect, if this card is used as synchro material and is added to the extra deck face up, you can place it in your pendulum zone. So basically, you could just set this card up for its pendulum effect the next turn, which is pretty nice. Next, we have Super Heavy Samurai Monk Warrior Big Benkei. So it's another Big Benkei, and it's level 8 Earth Machine Pendulum Effect monster with 1000 attack and 3500 defense. And this is the exact same stat line as the other Big Benkei. And it has a pendulum scale of 1. Pendulum effect, if you control a Super Heavy Samurai monster, you can add one Super Heavy Samurai Soul monster from your deck to your hand. And I think there's like 5 different ones already, including the new one, of course. Actually, no. There's like 6 or 7. And for the monster effects, if you control no spell and traps in your graveyard, you can send one Super Heavy Samurai Big Benkei from your deck to the graveyard, and if you do, special summon this card from your hand. Automatically really great. And second effect, if this card is used as synchro material and is added to the extra deck face up, you can place it in your pendulum zone. That's already really nice. Next, we have their newest synchro monster, and it's Super Heavy Samurai Overlord Masurao, and it's a level 12 Earth Machine synchro effect monster with 2100 attack and 4000 defense. Not as impressive as the train, but whatever. And it requires one tuner plus one or more non-tuner monsters. First effect, this card can attack while face-up defense position, and if it does, apply its defense for damage calc. Pretty standard. Second effect, if a Super Heavy Samurai monsters you control will be destroyed by battle, or card effect, you can destroy one Super Heavy Samurai card you control instead. So basically, you could destroy one of the cards equipped to it, but yeah, there's other ways to keep your Super Heavy Samurai monsters protected in this deck, but this is still a pretty fine effect to have. And the third and last effect reads... once per turn, if your opponent activates a spell, trap, or effect, you can draw cards until you have 3 in your hand. Which I guess is neat because your Super Heavy Samurais do have some hand traps. Yeah, that's about it. Next, we have Super Heavy Samurai General Shanao, and it's a level 8 Dark Machine Synchro Pendulum Effect monster with 2000 attack and 2500 defense with a pendulum scale of 1. Its pendulum effect reads, when an opponent's monster declares an attack, you can special summon this card. Then, if you control no spells and traps in your graveyard, change that monster's attack to 0 and its effects are negated. Pretty nice. And I think, yeah, that's permanent too, so yeah. And it requires one tuner plus one or more non-tuner monsters to special summon, so it's basically generic. And I mean, to make use of its pendulum effect, you have to control no spells and traps. Not really something that most decks can use. First effect, or at least first effect for its monster effects, this card can attack while in face-up defense position, and blah blah blah, you already get the gist. Second effect, once per turn during the battle phase, if you control this synchro summoned card, and it specifies synchro summoned, not so you can't just use it in tandem with the pendulum effect. Quick effects, you can special summon one Super Heavy Samurai card from your graveyard or face-up spell and trap zone, then place this card in your pendulum zone. Oh, it says monster. I forgot to specify monster card. Anyways, that's all for the new Super Heavy Samurai support and what you guys think about them, and tell me if you're excited that Super Heavy Samurais are getting more support. And it's been me, your boy Blue Gatsuga, and I'm out.